This is episode number 186 of the Homeowner Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett. Here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to Homeowner Show. We're so glad that you could join us for another episode here live from the Homeowner Show studios. How you doing, Kev?
And it is so much better than last week. Life is so much easier.
The property's been released.
Yes.
It's now their problem.
That's right.
Yeah. And they aren't your problem.
No more. They're out of my life forever. But I tell you, man, it was stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I was a little bit hot last week. I was like in the middle of everything, you know?
Oh yeah.
Now I'm kind of not so much in the middle of everything. And
how much weight did you lose?
I don't know, probably not enough. I guarantee that. But definitely
didn't hit the goals.
No, well, I don't know if I had a goal, but if I did, I probably missed it. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I'm good. How are you, man?
So there is a raging case of poison ivy working its way through my house right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was here just shortly after the case happened, the first one.
Yeah.
But, like, is it spreading by person? Or
yes.
Weird.
It is weird.
I didn't know that could happen.
Well, so, like, I am not allergic to poison ivy.
Okay.
I've never really had it before, but apparently my son is very allergic to it. I mean, he had it, like, behind his ears, on his eyeballs, just pretty much all over his body, everywhere north of his knees. And it was just bad. Like, he's been home from school for 3 days on steroids and all this kind of stuff. I mean, he's fine, but, like, he's itchy.
Sure.
And apparently, whatever he sits on, if somebody sits on it after him, they just get whatever he had.
Really?
From that.
I legitimately didn't know this was possible.
I didn't either.
That you could transmit poison ivy from person to person.
Right.
I didn't think that was a thing.
And so our mutual friend, Haley, was actually telling me that, I don't know how long ago it was, but like apparently her dad had a really bad case of poison ivy that he kept giving himself back through a bar of soap.
No.
Yes. Like apparently this stuff is like really contagious.
Wow.
And like it's like contagious up to like 4 days after.
I had no idea.
I mean, not to be like gross, but you get like those like pus nodules and like they burst and that gets on stuff and then it just all goes to hell.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've never had poison ivy until now.
And now you have it?
And now I have it.
Where?
On my back.
You're disgusting.
Yeah. I'd rather have this than hair, though.
I've seen some pretty hairy backs in my time, and I'm like, man, like, you could lay down and, like, people could walk on that
like
sucker.
A bear rug.
I don't even know why there's not enough wax in the world for that thing.
No.
That's just, that truly is disgusting.
Yeah, so FYI, and not that I'm going to show it on the show, I don't have a hairy back.
And those of you that have hairy backs out there, ladies, there's not one of them out there that's going
that care.
No, not at all.
Oh, there's one,
No,
and she's pretty happy with it.
And she has a hairy back, though.
What?
Oh, maybe not. We're not talking about the same person. Never mind.
You about to get Will Smith?
Oh man, I will tell you, man. I love the memes that are coming out of that thing.
So many good ones.
So many good ones. So,
and we pretty much covered it last week.
We did,
but like it's still happening.
Okay, has your opinion changed?
No.
Okay, just curious.
No.
Okay.
Like I think I've dug in deeper into my opinion. I'm like, take it away from him.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
You're fine with him getting the Oscar?
No, I'm fine with him not
getting the Oscar.
Yeah.
I mean, he did get it. No one said boo about it.
No. Although I did listen to a pretty interesting, I've got a friend who's a lawyer. He put like a video out about like in the state of Texas, if that would have happened,
right?
What would the authorities on site have done?
Oh.
It was kind of interesting. The answer was nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah. If you really want to know, the answer is
nothing.
Nothing. Now, they could retroactively come after him.
Well, the organization can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but the authorities could retroactively come back with a warrant if charges were pressed. But
He already said he wasn't pressing charges.
No, he's not going to.
So, although there was a really good picture of it, where it's like right after Chris Rock got slapped, his right hand is down and it's kind of flinched a little bit, and it's like he thought about it for a second.
Yeah, he wanted to. Yeah. Anyway,
so
yeah, there you go.
No more new takes on that. Just
No.
less interesting information about it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I tell you what, it has been an interesting week though, as we have adjusted or worked towards adjusting to living in a home that's literally half the size of the one that we had.
right.
It's different. My kids are sharing a room, which I shared a room growing up with my brother. He and I shared a room.
Share a room right now.
Yeah, it's true. I've shared a room the majority of my life now that I think about it. But anyway, so that's kind of new and different. There's no real place for someone to go.
Yeah, you can't hide.
And no, there's nowhere for someone to so last night apparently I'd come home from work late. It was like 9:30. And I came home. I was like, hey man, how'd everything go tonight? I wasn't here. And Kimberly said, well, my son walks out of the room and goes, Mama, I need some alone time. And he's 7. So he's like, I need some alone time. And she was like, okay, buddy, I'll see if I can figure this out. So she, because the reason that I asked this question is I walk in the living room is my daughter's huge, massive, Barbie dream house. And I'm like, why is this in here? We literally put it in there on purpose.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, he needed some alone time. So,
just not with the...
Yeah, needs to get away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's, it's fine.
Just want you to know, my wife heard your comment.
Oh.
And she said, not cool, Kevin. She thought you said that she had a hairy back.
Well, she didn't understand that I didn't understand what we were talking about. I was talking about someone else.
See, what happened was...
Also was not going to actually be named. Tell her this. Of all the people I would want to offend in life, it is someone not with the last name Williams.
That's okay.
In general. I've offended your mom before.
Ooh, that did not go well.
That did not go well. That did not go well. I did it on purpose though.
It was funny.
It was good. It was one of my better ones. That was a really good one.
But the retribution was funny.
Though what I said was funny. The retribution was also pretty funny. But what I said was it was a good one.
Yeah.
She probably didn't remember what I said at this point. But
well,
anyway.
so our guest tonight,
Yeah.
we actually have a guest.
We do.
So
it's been a while.
Has some experience with the wrath of the Williams clan.
Oh, really?
Because he's been around quite a few of us.
Okay.
He's a good family friend. We got Chef Collin Shine in the house, in the studio.
All right.
How you doing, Colin?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Dude, this is exciting.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, this is
I'm excited.
First time out to the ranch.
Yes.
Yeah. Made the trek up north.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. We waited traffic out.
Well, we enjoyed some adult beverages before with the fine people over at B52.
A craft beer or two.
Oh yeah, dude. And you hadn't been there before either, right?
What a space,
dude.
What a space.
Like if you've never been to Conroe, or if you have been to Conroe but you haven't been to B52, like you're missing out.
Yeah, it's a really unique place because there's a lot of breweries out there. I mean, really, these craft breweries they've kind of shot up everywhere. They're popping up here, popping up there, but most of them are like in this little hole in the wall place that they could find.
Yeah,
whatever. This place is like, I don't know. They probably got 5 acres
at least. Yeah,
at least maybe more.
I think they told me
They got 5 acres in parking.
Yeah,
exactly, and it's. I mean, here's what's interesting. I remember the first time that Craig, you and your wife invited our family out to the brewery.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were like, what?
What's wrong with them?
Yeah. And your wife, the non-hairy back one,
right?
She said, no, it's not like that. Like it's a family atmosphere.
I don't want to be clear. I don't have another wife.
Okay. Well,
that also has a hairy back.
I was leaving it up to interpretation.
I'm monogamous.
Okay. Good.
So
okay.
Speak more clearly, Kevin.
I thought it was pretty clear. Anyway, so I was like, seriously? And we showed up and we're like, there were kids running around. There's these yard games out there. It's like, it's awesome. It's a really neat place.
Family-friendly brewery.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Cutting edge.
Yeah, cutting edge.
They have tetherball.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, well, I know they got like cornhole and like horseshoes and like the giant Jenga thing and all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
it's fun.
And kitty cats.
But you have to have Kit Kats. Kit Kats.
No,
Not like the break kind, like little kitty cats.
kitty cat. Yeah, there you go.
You have to have some
They're
of
just
those.
property cats.
Those
right?
are-
They're
those
fairly
are just-
feral.
Yeah,
Those are the ones keeping the other things away.
that's right.
So
Who's wrangling who? out
Those
there?
are- that's
that's right. It's a question that who knows.
I think it's actually a strategy that, no matter what, your children are still going to be more well behaved than the cats. So that no one can actually say it's like wrangling.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
So
You make a good point without saying the point. Yes.
see, speaking clearly.
You didn't even have to say anything and you were more clear than me. I said something and was less clear than what you didn't say.
Okay, so we need to explain why Chef Collin is here.
Well,
Why
it's
am I
because
here?
we invited him.
We invited him.
Okay,
Okay.
that's an easy answer.
So one, we met Chef Collin because he was the chef at one of our favorite restaurants. What I mean by that is like we still like the restaurant. He's just not the chef there anymore.
Right.
So, but he is now working with Wolf and Sub-Zero, and you're doing demonstrations with their products as the chef representative.
I'm like the white coat expert.
Was that the official title?
No, I kind of come up with that. No, in some respects, yeah. I mean,
It
that
is
white
now.
coat, the white coat experience, right? So, for people, we have a showroom outside the Galleria. It's 10,000 square feet. Shows everything that we have in our product line, from refrigeration and freezers to hot side cookware with ovens, wall ovens, ranges, the whole spectrum.
Is that in the mall or just out in
No,
that
it's
area?
outside, just outside.
Okay.
So like Sage in West Alabama. So
Okay.
freestanding building. Like that white coat experience of people that are in the market doing a remodel, doing a whole new build, whatever their project may be. We try to give them that culinary insight, I guess, in some respects of how those products can benefit them in their life and inspire them in the kitchen, and bring a lot of value for essentially what they're making a big investment in that regard. We're certainly a luxury product, a higher end product. We try to provide that kind of experience, to inspire them in their kitchen and maximize what they're investing their money in.
So, and this is kind of like a big deal now because I think, what you guys are offering is more along the lines of what you would be using commercially, right?
Definitely, there's a commercial heritage there.
Yeah.
Company started out as mainly refrigeration. 76 years ago, innovated some cutting edge refrigeration ideas, and then about 20 some odd years ago, acquired the residential line of Wolf. Wolf was traditionally a commercial brand, so it would have been in restaurants and hotels and banquet halls.
Right.
Had a very small residential part of the market, and they went to pair that with their refrigeration expertise to try to start to build like the perfect kitchen or the perfect package. There's definitely a commercial heritage there in the way that we build cookware. But man, who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't? Anybody that likes to be in a kitchen is like a kid in a candy store in a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, so let me ask a couple of questions here because and we definitely want to talk like chef stuff too because
For sure.
who doesn't want to talk about food? But like, what in your kind of pitch here? What would make these products superior than just? I mean, I think it's pretty easy to see that it would be better than like Frigidaire, right? Like we're better than that. But that being said, like what makes it better than like what's a really high end Genair? I don't know. That's a pretty high end type of appliance, right? What makes it better than something like that?
From a refrigeration standpoint, many years ago, we kind of created the idea of what we call dual refrigeration. So anytime you have a unit that has a refrigerator and a freezer, whether it's side by side or whether that's an over-under, typically those units will share air between those cabins, those cavities, right? So a freezer wants a frigid and dry climate, whereas a refrigerator wants a warmer but cool and humid climate for all those leafy greens and fresh fruits and things like that. So to maintain those respective climates, you would share air. You would take that frozen dry air from the freezer, you'd move it into the refrigerator cavity. So you get this big fluctuation in temperature, but you're also picking up humidity in that refrigerator, and then you're moving it back into the freezer to maintain both of those climate zones with one system of condenser, compressor, and evaporator. So that presents a challenge. You get a big fluctuation in temperature, you get a big fluctuation in humidity. You can imagine what would happen if you picked up water molecules in the fridge and then moved it back into the freezer. What do you get? Freezer burn, ice. You get a freezer burn on your veggies, freezer burn on your meat. You get ice crystals on your ice cream.
Yeah.
Or if you've got a bunch of fresh seafood in your fridge, you've got ice that tastes like salmon or shrimp or scallops or whatever the case may be, because you're sharing all that air.
Yeah.
So they were very cutting edge in isolating those two. So every unit that they have is going to have a specific condenser, evaporator, and compressor for the freezer and for the fridge. And in turn, that makes both of those zones more efficient. You can get them to their ideal temperatures and hold them very easier, more efficiently, right? You don't have to work the unit as hard. If one goes out, the other one's still up and running. And then we coupled that with about 5 years ago with a technology to be able to scrub the air of the refrigerators, a technology that was sort of developed in conjunction with NASA. And so it basically scrubs the air of what's called ethylene gas. You ever taken you have an avocado or a peach that wasn't quite ripe? Mm-hmm. What'd you do with it?
Put it in the fridge.
Did you?
No, it's not ripe.
Not ripe, and you want to ripen it up faster.
So we just put it on the
maybe
counter.
A brown paper bag.
Oh, I've not tried that.
You ever done that trick
work, yeah.
with like a lunch sack?
Wrap it up.
And so you're using ethylene gas to try to speed that up.
Okay.
So if you throw everything in the fridge together and certain things give off ethylene gas, like certain fruits and vegetables emit it, certain fruits and vegetables are susceptible to it and break down faster because of it. So there's actually an air purification cartridge that's in every one of our fridges that every 20 minutes fires to pull that ethylene gas out of that environment.
Whoa.
So we can really maximize the shelf life of ingredients.
Yeah.
Substantially. I mean,
so like, what are the ones that like tend to spoil quicker?
Well, you tell me what are you throwing away that you can't get through when you buy
lettuce?
Lettuce, strawberries, leafy greens, arugulas, herbs, heads of lettuce, right?
Celery seems to be one of those that goes limp real quick.
Yeah. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you see strawberries last a couple days in a normal fridge, I can get strawberries that last like 2 weeks.
What?
In a Sub-Zero.
That's
leafy
crazy.
greens. I keep a head of lettuce.
I mean, Tupperware can't even do that, y'all.
I keep a head of lettuce just in a fridge all the time with a label on it, and it'll go a month or more, and just be beautiful.
So okay.
So again, we're keeping very constant temperatures. We're keeping very constant humidity. We're removing harmful gases and odors, and so we can just naturally preserve food much, much longer. So if an average family of 4 throws away, on average, $2,200 a year in just food spoilage, right? Just food you don't get through, heads of lettuce, fruit that you can't get through. We really feel like you can pay that forward and pay that back over the course of a life of a unit that we know is going to last you 20 years.
Wow. So, there's a really pretty funny meme that's going around right now. It said, we do not waste food by throwing it away immediately. We put it in the fridge, let it spoil, and then throw it away.
Right, absolutely.
Dadgummit.
Oh, I know I've seen a magnet on a fridge that it was a gal holding a head of lettuce, and she said, should I throw this away now or go ahead and wait 2 weeks like I normally do?
That's right.
And I laughed because when I took this job, it becomes, I wouldn't say obsolete, but you honestly I have leafy greens like arugula and spinach and lettuce that you would normally barely get 3 or 4 days out of, and I'm holding on to it for 21 days.
That's crazy.
I can't.
And that's
even
all
imagine.
about temperature control, humidity control, and removing that ethylene gas out of the environment.
Do you know any of the ingredients that release that gas?
Yeah, plenty of fresh produce like apples and avocados, bananas.
Okay.
So just certain fruits and vegetables, and then some of those ones that you see going. The ones that tend to last longer in your fridge are probably giving it off, and the ones that are busting down earlier are probably the ones that are taking it. We actually have a card in every Sub-Zero refrigerator that highlights those things for you. It tells you what those are, ideal places to store them, and how long you should see them ideally last in your unit.
Yeah, all the things that you just listed are things I never put in the fridge.
Apples and stuff.
I didn't know that they did that, but I just always keep them on the counter.
Right, because you go through them quick enough, you'll eat them.
Yeah.
But if you have things that are in the fridge like that, then they're certainly going to cause those arugulas and leafy greens and fresher produce to break down quicker. But even things like dairy, right? Because of the consistency of the temperature control.
That's what I was going to
The
ask.
expiration date on a milk carton is now just a recommendation. You should still give it that old nose test and maybe even give it
That's a good Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
It's like, do they ask the cows, is it today? Is it today? Tomorrow? I was actually going to ask that because, there are milks out there like Fairlife, for example, that their expiration life is much longer.
And I think it's a pasteurization process for them. They're just highly ultra pasteurized.
Yes, exactly. So I was actually kind of wondering, it's in a plastic carton, so but I guess there's still things that happen inside that plastic carton, right?
Yeah, it still has a shelf life.
Still has a shelf life,
right.
and so I was wondering, and it sounds like it's going to last a little bit longer.
A little bit. I had a milk carton, I think last week or so, that it probably stretched a little too far. I mean, it was almost 2 weeks past the date.
Wow.
And I finally threw it out. And it was like, now it's time.
Now
and I'm a guy that's going to stretch the limit anyway, right? Like, I don't like throwing things away. I want to try to use it, maximize it.
Who has milk for 2 weeks?
Well, but it's not at home, right? This is at work.
Okay,
I buy something and I use it and I don't get all the way through it. There could be easily 10 days before I come around to use it again.
Sure.
I'm not always cooking every day for a big event. So, and that's the beauty of kind of the job that I have. I get to cook and do that in a showroom, literally appliance showroom. But can still source really great high quality ingredients somewhat in bulk, right? And still be confident that I don't have to use them in a quick turnaround and they're going to last for me.
So is this
over the course of a month or so?
Yeah. So are these units like normal fridge size, or are we talking like a lot? I know a lot of the more commercial type stuff, people are putting them in their homes.
Yeah.
A lot that are basically a full size freezer and fridge that are your side by side.
So we have the full spectrum, right? So we have traditional side by side over under units that run the gamut from 24 inches to 48 inches. And then we also do and those are like the classic series, so to speak. And then we do more designer built, what we call column units that are intended to be like paneled over and to match your cabinetry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those run a gamut of, anywhere as slim as 18 inches, full 75-inch height, 18-inch up to 36-inch wide. So they have a pretty spectrum of what you can do and how you can mix and match things together to build what suits your either aesthetic look or just your lifestyle of how you're using your fridge and freezer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was asking a question earlier about because we're considering the idea of building, and we're trying to figure out what we want to do ultimately, but I was like, could it go in a barn dominium?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's my threshold of income here that I have to have?
Well,
I
mean, from a price standpoint, Sub-Zero and Wolf certainly is on the higher end of the echelon, but to the point of, what I talk about, of the money that it can save you from a refrigeration standpoint on an annual basis, and the fact that it is going to last you 20 years. I mean, it is engineered, built, and tested to last a minimum of 20 years.
Wow.
And it's not uncommon that on a day-to-day basis, I meet people that have a unit that is 35 years old, runs like a dream, and they're either building a second home and putting it in, or they're just ready to renovate, update, and modernize their kitchen.
Yeah.
And they still have a unit that's almost 40 years old that's still working like a top.
That's crazy.
it's just unheard of.
It is.
I mean, appliances just don't last unless they're green. If they're green, these appliances will last a lifetime.
You mean like the color green?
Yeah, the avocado green ones from the 60s. Those are still around. Like some of them are in the landfills and they won't break down. Like there's nothing you can do to them.
It's because they're camoed.
They don't even know they're there, right? There's something about the green ones. I don't know. But we had a yellow freezer also, and it lasted a really long time. But no, it's unheard of. I mean, what is
I think an average refrigerator on the market will last about 10 years.
About 10
they'll
years,
say,
yeah.
and I think that's
That's generous.
A generous estimation,
Yeah.
right? If you buy a run of the mill fridge at a store and you just need something and you're putting it in, whether you live in an apartment or a house, and you're on a budget and you're not trying to spend a lot of money, yeah, you might be lucky to get 6 to 8 years out of it.
Yeah.
If you think about that, right? And if you put something like a Sub-Zero in your house, that it is a costly. It's like buying a car in some respects, a small car. But to think that it could last you the life of the mortgage of that house, right?
That's huge.
Or more, then you buying one product and you'll probably have to invest very little additional income to keep it running that long.
Which, by the way, did you guys hear about how they're planning on solving some of the housing crisis right now?
Mm-mm.
So there's been talks of them, the government negotiating with the banks in order to offer a 40-year mortgage.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems good for the bank.
It does, doesn't it?
A 40. That's okay. I remember.
I may not have 40 years left.
So I mean,
I'm in
exactly.
trouble.
I don't want to spend too much because I'm sure we'll talk about it next week with Haley.
Sure, but I remember whenever vehicles went from 5-year, like
Notes.
60 month, like on a Suburban, right? And now they're up to like in the 90s.
Yep.
And it's like, goodness gracious, like you're spending like 8-9 years to pay for a vehicle, and I can't imagine spending that long buying a house.
Which is fair because a lot of vehicles cost as much as houses do.
No doubt. There's no doubt about that.
But anyway, I thought it was an interesting. It's like, well, we all can't afford them, so let's just draw this painful thing out as long as possible. So anyway,
wow. Okay, so you don't just work in a place that sells really high end refrigerators. They also do like ovens, stoves, those types of things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have and so Sub-Zero is all refrigeration. That's the original brand in the brand family, let's call it. And then Wolf is anything that would be, cooking appliance, right? So whether that's a full range with an oven underneath, whether that's a range top or a cooktop or wall ovens. We have in-counter deep fryers, in-counter steamers, all kinds of cool stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, from a super commercial in the way that it's engineered and built. And again, when we talk about Sub-Zero and like that temperature control, like everything about Wolf is about just controlling heat, right? And making, helping the home cook have really good results over and over again, and taking a lot of that, the pressures that we feel in the kitchen sort of off of them, with the ability to manipulate heat, have heat control and temperature control and stuff like that.
I mean, so I remember whenever convection became something that was fairly normal, and everybody was going, I don't even know what that is.
I don't think it's normal still. I encounter people every day that I'm trying to convince them about convection.
Yeah, and part of it is that, things cook quicker.
Correct.
And they are supposed to cook more evenly, especially whenever you're baking, like cookies and those sorts of things. But what I've noticed...
Not your experience?
No.
What was your experience?
Well, I currently... I don't actually know what our current one is. A week ago, I had an oven that was convection, and it was the Frigidaire Gallery, so it's one of their nicer ones that's still Frigidaire, right? But I would put it on convection, and it had the convection convert, so it changed the temperature for you, all those sorts of things. So it's kind of nice as far as that goes, because you can't cook things as hot on convection. You don't need to, because it's blowing the air around and all that kind of stuff. But Yeah, even I'd put in a batch of cookies, for example, and they would still come out uneven.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't understand. And so what I would find is that cooking things not on convection actually did a better job.
Yeah.
In those than not. You know?
So I think I would speak to the market in general in the sense that most products that are listed as convection on the market are still, they're using a fan or a series of fans to generate heat in an oven that is still let me say rephrase that, to circulate heat in an oven cavity that is still generated from either a bake element on the bottom of the oven or a broiler element on top. What Wolf has engineered is what we call true convection. So we actually have two additional heat elements in the back wall of the fan, in the back wall of the oven attached to those heat fans, so that we can, again, even more efficiently move that heat around an oven. So, the idea behind convection is, yes, you can cook things quicker. It's going to be faster. So there's a traditional conversion rate. If you have a recipe that bakes at 350, or at any temperature, we're going to convert that to convection. We're going to drop the temperature 25 degrees because it's more efficiently heating that oven cavity. So if we had a recipe that said bake at 350, we're going to convection cook at 325.
And then you're also going to lower the cook time.
Correct. By 25%. We call it the 25-25 rule.
Yeah.
Or
so you're
conversion.
saving energy and you're also saving time.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
So if I have a recipe that said bake at 350 for 1 hour, I'm going to convection cook at 325. I'm going to drop that temp 25 degrees, and I can anticipate it's going to cook about 25% faster, so I can shave almost 15 minutes off that time.
Nice.
And as a chef, I'm going to tell every home cook, set the timer sooner. Right? Turn the oven light on. You can look in there. You don't have to open the oven, interrupt the cooking process. Set the timer sooner and watch what's going on in the oven. Get in, be connected to your food. Watch the process, and you'll see those cookies rise, or that bread, or whatever you're doing, or you'll see the potatoes start to brown, and it'll just make you a better cook, better in tune with what's going on. And you can kind of start to get a better feel for timing that way.
So, okay, as far as convincing someone like my wife to go with a nicer oven, like this price point,
Right.
versus a higher end,
Right.
I don't know, something else at Lowe's. Yes, I hear what you're saying, but how do you convince someone to go, this is going to make your food experience that much better? Is it the not just the quality of your food, but is the longevity of the appliance? Is it the what are those things?
I think both of those. I think the freedom and the margin of error and the level of comfort that it can provide you in the kitchen with minimizing a lot of those errors, with how you control heat, with how the results of the product that come out of an oven or on a range top or on a stove.
It's less trips to
gas
Arby's
stove,
after
right.
you've already cooked something.
Right. And then also couple that with what we talked about with Sub-Zero is that, it's a product that could potentially last you 35 years.
Okay.
I think really sets it apart, but really just about performance of heat control. I mean, I could see where you're talking about using convection, but still getting uneven results, right?
Yeah. Oh, it happens.
And I think
every time.
that is a part because, like I talked about, a lot of those products on the market are still putting heat off from that element that's on the base or the floor of the oven or the broiler element on the ceiling of the oven. And you're just using a fan to try to move that around. But that aggressivity from those isolated locations is still the same. Whereas a Wolf true convection system has additional heating elements attached to those fans that are cycling off and on in conjunction with each other to just really optimize that notion of convection cooking to the nth degree.
Nice.
What are the different sources of heat that you guys are using? Or is it all electric,
Yeah.
gas?
So we use we have gas, we have electric in the ovens and the wall ovens. We have traditional electric cooktops that got a blazing red hot coil underneath it. We still have those, but we're also push induction as well. Which
Are you doing induction?
Fan. Yeah, I cook on induction a lot, and it's awesome. Just reaction times are tremendous. Control is very precise. It's clean. It's sleek. It's modern. I love it. It's
So
efficient.
tell them about what we found out about the other day with induction just in the granite.
Oh, Well, yeah. Have you seen those ones that you can install the induction units underneath
the granite? I have seen that. It's wild.
You guys
we
have
don't
that?
do that.
You don't
no,
do that?
we have more of a.
I think it's called like InvisiCook or something like that.
Yeah, I just kind of started to scratch the surface on that. I think it's really cool. But no, ours are a little bit more traditional as like a drop down, drop in. You know, you would cut the hole in the countertop and drop it in.
Right.
And it has that sort of glass ceramic top to
Yeah.
it. Looks like an electric kind of cooktop, but it is running on induction power, you know.
So like I just recently learned that you can use cast iron
Absolutely.
on induction.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Cast iron, enameled cast iron. Really the only things that aren't going to hit it are
It's got to be like copper,
really thin,
cast iron.
thin stainless steel, thin aluminum, and copper. So as long as you have enough ferrous metal in the pan, so even aluminums would like have a real heavy gauge bottom base, good quality stainless steel, and then cast iron and enameled cast iron are all going to work well on induction.
Yeah, when I figured out like you can use cast iron on this, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, so it's running on magnets.
Yeah.
It's just a system of magnets that's interacting with the ferrous metal in the pot or the pan, basically moving those metal ions, creating friction, which in turn generates heat.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people in the market are always like, you know, do I have to go buy all new pots and pans? No, not necessarily. I can use my grandmother's, you know,
And
heirloom
honestly,
cast iron pan. Just fine.
Cast iron is actually fairly reasonably priced. I mean, you go buy a cast iron pot.
There's nothing wrong with a Lodge preseason cast iron product.
Nope.
At Academy for $35.
Absolutely. I mean,
Or, or up, depending on what it is, right?
Yeah.
And the size of it. But yeah, no, absolutely not.
they'll outlast you. They have.
Well,
They
you got
have.
to take care of it still.
I mean, otherwise it's gonna rust.
You know, somebody throwing it in the dishwasher.
That's true.
Well, I mean, like, and you and I have done some events where that's all we cooked in.
That's it.
I mean,
plenty of
everything we cooked was in cast iron.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
I pretty much cook at home only on iron.
Oh, really?
Whether it's forged or cast. I mean, I'll do eggs in a nonstick still, just because that's just easiest way to go about it.
Heck
but
yeah.
no, I've got some really cool forged iron pots and pans that were gifted to me. That were really heavy duty, and so they're just a little more ornate than a cast iron. A little cooler, a little less campfire, a little more, you know,
showpieces.
Showpiece, yeah. Thanks. But they're awesome. But yeah, I mean, just the heat retention on cast iron alone it gives you that sort of margin of error, right? That you can kind of mess things up, but not mess things up as much, I think, in some respects.
Well, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer the gas, electric, or the induction?
People ask me that all the time, and it's hard to answer, you know.
Do you get something different out of each of them?
Yeah, you know, you do. You know, with gas, it's like we have that caveman mentality in us. We want to see the fire and the flame and gauge that. And it is fast reaction time. But induction is, you know, if we can kind of get our head around that a little bit, induction is really super sleek and super precise. It's very efficient. It doesn't put a lot of heat out in the kitchen. It's not using a lot of energy. It's fairly cool to the touch, you know, outside of where you're cooking. Just the reaction times are unbelievable. I can boil almost a gallon of water in like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But then the beauty of that is when you turn it off, it ceases cooking immediately too, right? So they don't have those carryovers that you would have on an electric, traditional electric burner, right? That has all that heat retention, and that coil has to cool down, and the pot and pan has to cool down. Like
So you're not having like move pots off of.
No, I mean your pot pan is now your source of heat. It is the element, and so when you stop that magnetic reaction, you've stopped the heat source, and so everything stops cooking. You can. I mean, I've been in demos where I've had a sauce boiling or something and trying to reduce it down, and it gets to the point where it almost boils over, and I hit stop, and it just settles. I mean, you couldn't script it. It just happened to happen that way. And it's the cream and butter's about to go over the rim of the pot, and I stop it, and it all settles perfectly.
Well, I think that even if you're using gas, which I know that on a range, gas is going to be more efficient than electric, especially that sort of thing. But even with that, like I find that a lot of pots and pans don't heat throughout the whole pan or the whole pot.
You still with gas can have some inconsistencies with the heat distribution or application.
And I guess part of that is how good a quality the pan is itself.
The pan or the gas output.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So like ideally for me, I have both, right? and I'm just fortunate to be in that situation. But even if I was building my perfect kitchen, I would want to have both, because certainly living in this part of the world, we're very familiar with hurricane season and power outages, and I want to be able to have gas and be able to light that thing with a fireplace lighter and just have that. I don't want to be beholden to an induction because it's cool and it's sleek, and then the power goes out and I can't even do anything. I can't boil water. I can't heat up a can of soup unless I move to a camp stove or something like that. Right. So yeah, if I were building my perfect kitchen, I would have a little bit of both. But in everyday use, I find myself using more and more induction. And I think for me, and I've heard other chefs say this in jest, it's just about getting older and lazier. It's so easy to clean. I mean, it's just like a glass ceramic top, and you wipe it off and you move on. Like whether it's grease splatter or spillover. In a traditional electric cooktop that has those red coils, you can't do that, because as soon as something boils over, it's scorching and scalding into that surface, or it's too hot to even apply a wet cloth to it.
That's why you have those really attractive aluminum foil wraps that you do underneath those grills.
Yes. Right. Yes.
So yeah, I find myself cooking on induction a lot, but our gas products are just super quality as well. Yeah. Just super professional in the way that they get high, but also get low and give you a lot of control.
Nice. Do you guys have a griddle option on any of yours?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I keep seeing, like,
I live and die by it. I mean, I cook on that probably more than anything.
Because I see, like, every other house I go to now has one of these black stones.
Yeah. Outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, which is cool. I haven't used one myself, but like having a griddle inside.
Game changer.
Well, I mean, when we're at church cooking for various things, they've got a really
they got a commercial griddle.
Commercial griddle there. Yeah. We use it all the time.
Heck yeah.
Because it's easy to clean.
Yep.
Cooks really well, and it's easy to kind of move your food around, and I mean, it's great.
It's a little bit different stylistically of how you might normally cook, right? But the griddle, we love it. We push it all the time. We have great heat distribution. Ours are actually thermostatically controlled, so you can dial the temperature in from 100 degrees to 450. Wow. So it's not high, medium, and low. Like I can dial it in within 25 degrees.
That's amazing.
Of somewhere, right? I could use it at 100 degrees for a warming table. I could put it at 450 to sear steak screaming hot, and everywhere in between.
So I know on a lot of griddles, and you probably know this, been in lots of restaurants, but like you end up with like cold spots.
Yeah. So ours is actually an infrared burner underneath, like you would have a sear zone on your outdoor grill or something. So it's a gas line that has basically like a metal mesh screen over it, to distribute all those heat points or those flame tips. So imagine if you fire up like a gas burner outside on your outdoor grill, and you can see the big burner, and there's like a couple dozen orange or blue or orange flame tips. Yeah. But then if you cover that with a metal screen and distribute that, now you got almost 1,000 different flame tips. You're basically replicating the surface of the sun. And so you're able to redistribute all that heat very evenly. And then couple that with the thermostat to control that heat. And then our griddles are like a 1/2-inch plate of steel. Jeez. So you're retaining that heat well. So it's like a 3-headed monster as far as heat control, distribution, and retention.
That sounds glorious.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, you can have a 22-inch wide griddle and run pancakes from corner to corner to corner to corner, and they're all pretty close to the same. You'd be splitting hairs to try to figure out where the hot or cold spot was. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Okay. Come on down to the showroom. We'll make pancakes, man.
I need proof.
Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
So I was going to ask you that. I mean, because like we talk, like you're the chef on the floor.
Yeah.
How is that like an appointment people have to make in order to come in?
We certainly go. We encourage appointments, right? So it's a very hands-on process. Most of these folks that are coming into our showroom are doing some sort of a significant remodel or a whole new build, right?
Right.
And they're spending a fair chunk of change on appliances, right? And so we have a consultation process where we try to figure out what they're doing, what's your cooking style, what's going to suit you. And then we go through that. So, sometimes I'll be in on those. More often than not, most of my job is we invite these customers that are in the market to demonstration dinners, a live dinner. Like we'll have a dinner twice a month, usually on a Wednesday night. And I'll cook a 4-course meal, and we'll pair it with wine. And I'll put a lot of those appliances to use in a sort of classroom or stadium closed circuit recorded format.
Okay.
and just try to touch on that. And it's very interactive. We encourage people to talk and ask questions. I'm not up there to lecture. You know, we're trying to figure out who you are and where are you in your process. They're probably trying to make final decisions, pare down what they want, what they need. And so it's just a cool opportunity for them to kind of see that, inspire them, cook for them, share some food and wine, but really educate them about the product and how it can help them in their kitchen.
I mean,
that's most of my, that's most of my day. And again, I get involved in consultation a little bit, but it's more of that. And then when customers do get delivery and installation, we do use and care classes so they can set an appointment with me and come in and we'll talk specifically about a product that's in their house and how it can function and how we're going to clean it and maintain it, take care of it, so on and so forth.
Man, I just don't get that at Lowe's. I tried once. I got kicked out.
You got kicked out?
Yeah. Because I was trying to cook on their cooktop.
Did you go to Home Depot?
Yeah. I tried to go to Home Depot, and they didn't let me in either.
We used to have a Builder's Square in front of our neighborhood way back.
Yeah, nice.
Man, I forgot about those.
Remember Builder's Square?
Yeah, that's good. Well,
the bee had like a with.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Remembering right.
A bee with a square.
With a square.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I thought the hole in the B, the capital B, was square.
I think you're right. Yeah. Either way, I do really like that process because I do think that people buy stuff and they don't know what they're buying.
Right.
I mean, that happens all the time.
Not at all.
And no one knows how to explain to them what they're like. Well, this model here is a little more expensive.
Right, and you're not going to get that.
That's all you get.
You're not going to get that from your everyday salesperson either,
Sure.
right? So we actually, in our showroom, we don't sell anything. We are a corporate showroom to showcase what the company has. We're really
There's no like price tags on.
Not
things,
at all.
so.
We're going to talk to you about what you want. We're basically going to build you a wish list or a shopping cart, and then we're going to send you all those specs. It's going to have price points so you can start to set budget. It's going to have all the specs you're going to give to a builder, a contractor, a designer, as far as, all the dimensions, all the electricals and gas and things like that. And then eventually you'll go, it's more of like we have factory certified dealers, authorized dealers that we would hand you off to nurture a relationship there that you'll make your final purchase from, but they're also going to help handle delivery and installation. We have factory certified installers, those dealers do, and then that gets you additional warranty on every out of box warranty. So you can get upwards of 6 years on a unit, full parts and labor.
Oh wow!
I mean, these are definitely the Maseratis of of the car world, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. But I think certainly more so in the last 5 years, probably even more so in the last year that I've been there, we're seeing a lot more and more people that are just middle-class families that are buying these products because they have the reputation and they're American-made and it's a family business. And again, they know that they're going to make one purchase and it's going to last them a couple decades.
Well, I think the kitchen has become a more and more important room in the house. I even think more so than like the living room.
The pandemic has done that for sure, right? Forced people into the kitchen. And we certainly are living in a lifestyle, in an age with everything's online and we're watching cooking shows more and more and more. And so the age of the celebrity chef has started to rage in the last 20 years, certainly in our generation. People beeline to me in the showroom. Like they see a chef and like, whoa, and they just want to gravitate and talk and just bounce ideas off you. And it's fun because I'm not a classically trained chef, right? I didn't go to culinary school. And so there are some of those chefs in the organization that I would imagine have a harder time relating to people. It's so easy for me to just talk to people about cooking at home. That's how I grew up cooking.
Yeah.
My earliest memories in life were in a garden or in a kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? Picking tomatoes in my grandma's house, squash, snapping green beans around the table.
Well,
and then I grew up in commercial kitchens in the restaurant biz too.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say, I know you pretty well, and like you say you didn't go to culinary school. That's fine, but you're pretty well traveled. I mean, you've had quite a few like culinary experiences, not just in the U.S. but like internationally. Right. I mean, like
for sure. But I think I got a leg up because my father's in the restaurant biz and has been for almost 50 years. So I grew up, biting ankles in commercial kitchens. But then, the restaurant biz and food life is kind of one of those things, you love it or you hate it, right? Or you love it or you're just not interested, I guess is a better way, not hate. But yeah, for me, it's in my blood. I love it. I breathe it. It's all I ever wanted to do. Gave a lot of thought to going to culinary school over my life. Didn't do it for whatever reason. Took a different path and it's worked out for me, fortunately. But yeah, I think that's a blessing to me to be able to relate to people on that level and not have them feel out of their own element or like they're
being talked down to.
Yeah, well, it's one of those deals where, like, if I'm going to come in, like, for me, if I'm going to walk into a place like that and go, I want to buy one of these products,
right.
I want to be able to use it.
Right.
And I want to be able to cook on it. And I don't want it to be something that I really need to have some level of cooking experience in order to be able to use it at a high level and make it happy in my home and make other people happy that eat the food. I don't want to have to be a chef in order to do it. So I think that having someone like you that's like, look, we can cook chicken nuggets in this thing too, you know?
100%, you know, and there definitely can be intimidating, and some of those products are more intimidating than others. Like, for example, a convection steam combination oven, right? People are like, what? You know, and the multitude of things that it can do, and they're like, I'm not sure. But when you start to talk to them about it, and what do you cook? What do you like to cook? What do you like to do? And then you start to enlighten them about how it can help you on their terms, on their level, whatever part of the spectrum that runs, right? That's definitely my job, is to try to relate that to people and make them understand that it is intimidating, but you know, our smartphones were a little intimidating when we first had them in our pocket too. And we figured those out pretty quick.
But does it have an air fryer in it? Because that's the latest rage. Is you
no
buy
air fryers.
You buy ovens, and it's like, now with air fryer, I'm like, isn't that a broiler unit? Like, I don't really.
No,
know.
you guys mentioned it in your turkey episode about it, and you were right on somebody. One of you said it, and I'm not sure who it was, but you were right.
Me.
You hit the nail on the head. It is just a convection system, right? It's a very powerful convection fan in a very small oven cavity.
Yeah,
that's an air fryer.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're cool. I mean, like, you know,
they're awesome,
and they actually do a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all have one. It has replaced your microwave, which is really, really handy.
Replaced the microwave.
Yes, it did.
There was never a microwave to replace.
At one point, you had a microwave at one point.
8 years ago.
Okay, so it replaced it.
But that was because it was installed in the house when I moved in.
Quickly took it out.
Well, it was one of those over the oven.
Yeah. Roach filler.
Yeah, I hate those things. Yeah. They're of the devil.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you guys sell microwaves.
We do, but we're not going to talk about microwaves. I mean, I use a microwave a lot, but I think people don't use a microwave the way that it can be maximized to use, right? I never microwave anything on 100% power. I always change the power level down.
Every time.
Power level 7, power level 8, whatever, so on and so forth. The melt mode, the softening mode, right? I mean, you can soften butter or cream cheese or melt. Like they work pretty well, depending on the microwave.
Yeah.
They work pretty darn well if you've got a well-made microwave, and they can, again, even something like that of highlighting to people, you know, things that they're not utilizing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm the same. I always power down, but I'm like, well, this thing has 1,400 watts. If you put that on 100%, like
there's a reason your fried rice tastes like.
It's horrible. It's absolutely. So I'm like 1,400. Like I put it on 50% because I'm like, I can't.
You can always add. You can never take away.
Exactly. But I still would never reheat certain things in a microwave. But
like such as
pizza.
Yeah, you just never get anywhere there.
No. 400 for 8 minutes. That's the sweet spot with pizza. Don't test me on pizza. I know my pizza. So that's
air fryer. It is.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have an air fryer, but
it would be a good way to heat up pizza, though.
Yeah,
it'll do all right.
One of the reasons I said air fryer is because it's one of those features that ovens are pushing these days. Like now, it's got an internal air fryer or whatever.
Yeah, it's kitschy, right? It's like a catchphrase, but
it is.
I think it's important to understand what an air fryer is, and really that's a testament to understanding convection, where this kind of conversation about cooking, you know, started off on, was convection and how it is more efficient and the results are better than traditional oven heat sources. Yeah,
and I'll say this to not fully wrap things up, but to wrap up a little bit, like I'm a huge believer in you get what you pay for. I mean, you really do, and I know that there are instances where you pay for something and it was more expensive and you got burned on it, and get those things, but the majority of the time, there's a reason that something is more expensive.
Right.
And I'm not talking like $100 difference. I'm talking like, thousands of dollars difference.
Right.
You wind up getting a superior product. There's a reason a BMW costs what it costs and a Ford costs what it costs, right? I mean, both of them are going to drive, but at the end of the day, one of them's going to be a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to last a lot longer if you maintain it. It just is what it is, you know?
Right.
So, anyway, that's all I got.
All right, so I gotta ask you, in any of your demonstrations, have you used our watermelon recipe?
Which one?
The bacon and watermelon?
No, I was thinking about using that this week.
Are you really?
I even hit up my dad for, man, those Old South watermelon rinds are like off the market. You can't find them.
I know.
Mike Shine has like 6 jars.
Does he really?
Honey hold away.
Randy has a few stores.
But honestly, Craig, I'm at the point where I want to make my own pickled watermelon rind, so I'm not going to buy the jar anymore.
Well, you need to talk to Celestina because she did that.
Yeah.
When was she?
Oh,
on?
yeah, that was goodness gracious. That was probably like a year and a half ago at this point.
Well, when I went on her show,
it's been a while.
She made, because
Pickled
she's in
water
Germany, she couldn't get them, so she just made them herself.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
So I bring it up because the other night, Kevin and his wife were over for dinner.
You did them.
And I was telling him, I was like, Colin used to make these, but he always wanted to figure out something else to do with them.
Yeah.
Because it was it's so simple, but it's so good, but it seems like it needs something else.
Yeah.
So I made a sauce
Okay.
with the watermelon rind.
Okay.
It was
Good.
it
It was whatever you're gonna say. I can tell you it was very good.
yeah. It was golly, it was red onion is what I paired it with.
Yeah.
It's just like red onion and watermelon rind.
Okay.
That I just made a sauce for pork tenderloin with.
Okay.
It was so good.
So your pork product, you just put that over tenderloin.
What?
So you just spun those flavors and then made a sauce and then put it over pork tenderloin instead of wrapping it in bacon.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, it was really good.
I love it.
So, and I'd never used like a pickle
No, but it is
in a sauce.
to call it a pickle is accurate, but I think most of the time we think about a pickle, we think about a lot of acidity, right, and vinegar.
Yeah.
And this is definitely
Sugar.
the sweetest pickle you've ever had in your life.
Absolutely.
It's the most sugar-coated
Maybe like
thing.
candied.
It's candied. That is way more accurate. It is a candied watermelon rind. I mean, there's some vinegar and salt in there, but there's a lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and he put it on top of cheese grits.
I did.
Which
do that.
was
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just so. In fact, the cheese grits were so good that his wife was like, "I'm still kind of hungry. Hey, you want some more grits?"
Dip into the
And
grits.
so she goes back up to the second half floor to the kitchen because you've not been to his house. It's weird. It's on the second and half floor. And,
Second and a half floor.
That's where my kitchen is.
Perfect.
Yeah,
It's cool.
And it's cool.
It's functional.
No, well, if you can walk upstairs, then
If you're mobile.
If you're mobile, then it's functional. But
It's not ADA certified over there, right?
no. And anyway, so she literally went up to the kitchen and she just got bowls and brought it down, and it looked like ice cream. It looked like mouths of ice cream, and we had spoons. And we were just
Intermezzo
eating.
of just grits before dessert.
And she put some of that sauce on top of the cheese grits.
Oh, nice.
And it was
She knows what she's doing.
It was
She wasn't
delicious.
gonna waste it.
No, and it was delicious, and it was just funny because.
So how fine did you bust up the watermelon rind to put it in the sauce? Did you just chop it up, or
I used an immersion blender.
you went full like emulsive puree on it?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Fried
Yeah,
up,
you-
sweat some onions, sweat some shallot or whatever.
Yeah. No.
Garlic or anything in there?
I think I used a little bit of garlic powder. I think I used a little bit of white wine.
I like
Just
that
to
too.
kinda-
Give it something.
Yeah.
Because
And-
otherwise you're just scorching sugar in there with it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Love it.
Y'all are using words,
No,
but I don't know what you're talking
Tell
about.
me we finished it with a little butter.
I did.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
there
I
we
did.
go.
That's what I caramelized the red onion before I
Yeah.
did all that. Yeah.
Deglazed with white wine.
Yeah, it tastes delicious, y'all.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
all.
so
I don't know.
I typically will do this. Like I did the pork loin in like a really hot pan.
Yeah.
And then I
Did the
deglaze
pan
the
sauce after that? Yeah, perfect.
So- and then emulsified it.
Awesome. So you did you pureed the watermelon rind and the sugars and got
the
it down
onion.
to a pretty fine consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like chocolate sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Had that kind of color to it? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was.
I think
funny.
it was from the deglaze of the pork is what it.
Yeah, you picked up all those drippings.
Yeah.
Certainly gave it
Yeah,
some
it
color.
was funny because I'm watching him cook, but we're just talking, right? I'm watching him cook. And I have no idea what he's doing over there, and
Then he pulls out
and
a trolling motor.
no, he felt pretty much
boat motor.
pretty much.
That's like one of my favorite things in the
Awesome.
kitchen. I
It's
love
awesome.
it. Yeah.
So he gets done with it, and he just kind of looks at it, and he like take something and like taste it, and he goes, "Here, taste that." And
That's
I'm
good.
like, he was genuinely going, I don't know if this is going to be any
You
good.
could see the
I could
gears
see
turning.
it. I could see it
and
in
working.
his eyes, and
He's probably
took it.
pleasantly surprised. It
He
caught him
was.
off guard a little bit.
Yeah,
But no, I was really. I didn't have anything else. Like that's all I had. I was like, well, we're gonna make this
We're
work.
committed to it.
Yeah, I was. Like, let's.
You
do
know what? A
this.
little mustard might have been good in there too,
Probably
like
would've
grain
been.
mustard,
like some Dijon or like some
like whole grain, like a
Oh,
Creole,
okay.
just like a little dollop. You know, think about all this, like pork and all that stuff seems to work together. Any herb? Finish with any herb? Like I bet a little thyme would have been all right too.
If I had
Like
any,
all that just works.
the only ones I would have had would have been rosemary or thyme.
I think that would have worked.
So, but I don't think I put any in there.
But yeah, I think that's
What was interesting is I took a little taste of it as well, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's
yeah, you just blew your
sweet.
mind. Yeah, oh yeah.
And I was like, it's sweet. I did not expect it to be sweet, but it wasn't like a
Sugar bomb.
sugar. No, it wasn't like I was putting
Right.
sweetened condensed milk on something or anything. But it was sweet, but it was really, really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I think that was always the amazing thing about the I'm pretty sure your dad introduced me to that. Like I didn't,
I think we did that at one of the Chuck Wagon. things
Yeah,
that
I
we
don't
did.
know if my dad came up with that, but I would have given your dad credit if I didn't know, right?
Well, it came from my grandmother. Is where it came from.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, perfect. And just for some backstory there, we're literally taking sugary candied, what they call pickled watermelon rinds, and cutting them into bite-sized pieces, wrapping them bacon, broiling them in the oven, and putting a toothpick in it, and you just eat it as like a hors d'oeuvre or a little bite, like a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, and people think you're a genius.
But I love it. I don't even remember having that conversation with you, but I laugh. I can see myself trying to spin the wheels and go, we can really do something elevated here with this. How can we do it? And I love that you came home and did that. That's amazing. I inspired him.
You did.
Yeah. Oh,
I've been thinking about it ever since we talked about it. I was like,
It's been a decade in the making.
I'm just glad I was here for it.
Yeah, you really reaped
did.
the benefits.
Yeah, I did.
So, but like you said, I don't know that I can do it again because you can't find them.
Could. Oh, well, no, we
The
have to make
ingredients.
our own watermelon rinds.
Well, yeah, that's the next adventure.
Yeah.
No, but all right, we can't let him get off the hook, Kev.
No, because people have been listening now for an hour and 2 minutes, and they're like, "Holy cow! When are they going to get to the most
got
important
questions?
thing?"
Well, yeah,
Q&A?
Yeah, it's the most important part because it is time for the Final Four.
The Final Four.
That's right. It's the Final Four questions we ask each and every one of our guests. And I don't know if you're prepared for this or not. I hope you're not. It's perfect.
Yes, even better.
I obviously wasn't paying attention to the other episodes I listened
didn't
to
go
at
all
the
the way to
final
the
10
end.
minutes.
Yeah, you gotta go all the way to the end to hear. That's why that's the only thing we hook people with.
That's right. That's all we got.
That's all we got. But here they are. We're gonna go in and ask you the Final Four questions. So here is the first question. What is the must-have tool you won't leave your house without?
Culinary tool, I guess we'll stay on the culinary line, or no?
Sure.
I
You
don't
can
make
take
my
it
own
however you want.
definitions.
Yep.
A sharp knife, like a well-sharpened knife, right? Most people don't understand that, in the kitchen, a dull knife is way more dangerous than a sharp knife.
Oh, so true.
And so a sharp knife can really just get through ingredients quickly, whereas a dull knife, you really got to work and force things at it, and it causes way more damage in the long run.
Slippy stabby.
Yep.
Oh.
So a sharp knife would be my tool.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a specific knife that's kind of your favorite?
No, Wolf has a subsidiary called Wolf Gourmet that they make cutlery and cookware and things like that. And I've been using their knives, and I've been pleasantly pleased with them. But
Nice.
everybody loves a good Japanese shun or something like that. I
don't
don't
know.
even own stuff like that. I'm
like
like, I'm going to A Smart and buying a Mercer. I'll be just fine, right? As long as you keep a blade on it, it'll
Sure.
be good.
I like my Cutco. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go.
I really like it. Some people probably have opinions, but mine is good. It works for me.
I have the one obligatory Cutco,
Which
the one,
is
the one that you buy when you feel bad for the person who's doing it.
Oh.
but it's the only, like when
Yeah.
when I was young and poor, and that's
Yeah.
all. Like I'll buy that one.
yeah, I know which
Please
one.
go
it is.
away.
I know which one it is. I used to sell Cutco actually for
Oh, man.
a moment. For a moment, it was like a 2-week period. I sold Cutco. I think I sold 2 sets, and got to keep my starter set, which was awesome.
There you go.
But all right, second question. Here we go. What is a job you walked away from? And I am going to qualify this for just a moment because We intended this question to be like what's a project you walked away from,
right.
really? Like at your home, like you're working on something and just got into it and it's like, I don't want to do this. You called a contractor and those sorts. But we asked the question the first time, what's a job you walked away from? Is you can take it however you want to.
Okay.
All right.
I think for me, I went to the University of Texas and I got a degree in economics. And so I did some work in like a personal finance wealth management firm.
Okay.
And I didn't last long. Entry level position, maybe I went 6 months.
Wow.
I'm not an office rat. I was not an 8 a.m.er at that time. I would do that work and then still find myself tending bar and being in the restaurant life at night and on the weekends. So I quickly gravitated back to the restaurant business.
Well, that doesn't lend itself well to like waking up at 8 o'clock. You know,
I'm not a morning guy. I'm still not a morning guy.
Exactly.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing better.
Yeah.
But I'm not there. I don't know that I'll ever be.
No, I mean,
I've spent 30 years in a restaurant, right? So I'm a little bit more of a night owl.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand. All right. Next question. How do you wind down at the end of a long day, or so the wee hours of the morning?
Yeah. No, I'm not that bad anymore.
Okay.
I like a good glass of wine,
Yeah.
cold beer, margarita, something like that. I like watching sports, just to take my mind off whatever was going on. When I was in the restaurant biz, and you really felt like I needed more of that wind down time, I would probably do more time with just getting away, and whether it's watching TV or binging Netflix or something like that. But I think with the lifestyle change that I have had in the last 13, 14 months, just getting outside and being in the sun, playing golf. Golf is like a meditation thing for me. I can really get in the zone, and I enjoy golf sometimes a lot more just on my own, not playing with friends or family, just because I can kind of have that time, put some headphones in and be kind of sort of like me time. So I love playing golf. Is a good wind down for me, or just being outside in the sun. Last couple of weeks have been great.
Yeah, that's been perfect weather to be outside.
Yeah, it's been great. And we haven't actually said this in a while, but like Craig and I, we definitely advocate for people to have time to just kind of stop for a minute and just wind down, just realize that everything's not as hype as you have made it to be, right? Like just chill for a little bit, spend some time with your family if you have a family, spend some time just kind of chilling a little bit. It's
Absolutely.
very good. Very, very good. All right, last question. Here we go. What's one of the best pieces of wisdom or advice that you've ever received?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I think you go a lot of ways, but on a very simple level or introductory, I think I already said it a moment ago, was like, you can always add, you can never take away. And I think that I encounter that in my life every day, especially in cooking, but you can apply that to a lot of different things, right? You can always set a good foundation and build on it. But for me as a cook and a chef, I try to preach that to people all the time, whether that's heat application, whether we're seasoning. You can always add. It's hard to go too far and dial it back.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, here's the thing. This is an awkward moment because I said there was the last question, but it's actually not the last question. There's a final question that Craig asked.
Four final more.
There's just one.
Gird your loins.
It's the only question that Craig remembers, and so we're gonna let him ask the final question, which is,
if people want to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
I've got an Instagram handle. It's at C as in Colin, C Shine, SHINE Cooks. Or you can reach out to me at colin.shine@subzero.com.
Awesome.
Very good.
Come see you about their fancy schmancy kitchen they're going to be
just
putting
pop
together.
in. Say hey, just come look at the showroom. It's beautiful. Just to kind of see those things in their designer-inspired environment. And it's a beautiful showroom, and it's a cool place to hang out. And we're very welcoming. So come in and see us, whether you got a project or not.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. Craig and I need to take a road trip at some point. Go down there.
I'm a little insulted we haven't been asked to host one of these dinners yet.
That's true.
So.
Oh man. I'm sorry. I'm throwing insults around here. I didn't even know it. Nonverbal insults.
Nonverbal insults. That's right. Yeah. Well, Craig's the king of being insulted and not realize it.
That's right.
So anyway,
Take it like a champ, though.
that's right. Right of the chin, like Chris Rock. Anyway, so what else? Anything else? Did we not talk about something that you think is important?
No, I would want to just mention my background and Frank's and my family restaurant down in downtown. So I spent a lot of my culinary chops in the last 8 years or so running the kitchen at Frank's Americana Revival, which is my father Mike and my brother Chris's operation. So I certainly wouldn't be where I'm at without them. Yeah. And it was a bittersweet part, but I think we all have benefited from my change and my decision to try to explore something new. My lifestyle is changed 180 degrees, if not 720. Nice. And, being a family business coming out of the pandemic, it was tough. Revenues were tough, so it wasn't really a terrible thing for somebody to be able to find a nice landing spot and take that money off the payrolls in a lot of regards, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was bittersweet, but I think it is had a lot of positive outcomes going forward.
And I'll just say this. I mean, like if you're in the Houston area, I mean, like, and you want a fantastic meal, that's the place to go.
Absolutely.
It's awesome, and it's just very welcoming and inviting. It's a very cool, homey, warm atmosphere, and service staff is pretty tremendous. Yeah. And
it's testament to how well you did over there. I mean,
thanks.
It's carrying on,
and and I think testament to the guys that have carried on the culinary job. Family didn't go out and hire a new chef or anything like that. We stuck with the crew that we had, elevated some guys, and sort of divided my roles amongst 2 or 3 kitchen managers, so to speak. And just the testament to the lack of turnover that we have. Restaurant business has a lot of turnover in general, but I think that we've always at Frank's has always been able to minimize that to some degree, and I think very fortunate from a longevity standpoint and a consistency standpoint. Yeah. And I think it's a real testament to everybody. My dad and my brother still today who are there every day and busting their hump to make sure that things are done the right way. But yeah, definitely to the kitchen crew that have helped pick up that slack a little bit.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Go eat there.
Well, I mean, before the show started, I mean, Kevin was sharing with Colin. I mean, like he remembers the last time he went there when you were cooking there, and like it was just like one of his favorite.
He was raving.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
but that's awesome. Memories. I mean, and I think that's what we said at the end of that conversation was, or at least I said that's amazing that you have that memory. That's what it's really all about. I mean, it's about making those memories for people, and Frank's is very much a part of that. Going back many decades, that property was a place that's very near and dear to a lot of people's heart in that neighborhood. It was called the Stables, and it was just a mom and pop type operation, good home country style food. Certainly Frank's is a little more elevated, but it's all approachable food. We call it regional comfort food. Mm-hmm. So it's things that you grew up eating, but that are just done on a little elevated level.
What I ate there was a chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
was
like
it the best chicken fried steak you've ever had?
Absolutely the best chicken fried steak. Really, it was unbelievably good.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where it's like, I think sometimes you go to these really nice restaurants and you look at the menu and go, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
You
need a translator.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guilty of writing those kind of menus sometimes.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, they're good. In fact, one of my most memorable meals that I ever had was my wife and I at Victoria and Albert's in Walt Disney World at the Grand Floridian. It's a 7-course meal. I mean, there's a harpist over there playing. I mean, it was there was one waiter he only was working with our table only. I mean, it was a really, really neat experience. And we still have the menus because they were personalized and everything. It was a really sweet experience. But I don't know anything that I ate that night because I couldn't understand what it was. Yeah. It was all really, really good, but I didn't know what I go to Frank's and I'm like, oh, they got fried green tomatoes? Boom. Bring it over. They got some, crab cakes? Bring it over. They got some, chicken fried steak. I mean, it's the best stuff you've ever had, but it's when you say approachable, it's super approachable.
Yeah. I think
stuff that
classic regional comfort food recipes done with highly sourced ingredients and a lot of attention to detail and care. And it's a testament to the people that work there because they, buy into that belief of caring for an ingredient, and it can really shine on the plate.
Yeah. Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been really, really good.
Thanks for having me.
I've enjoyed it. Anything else, Greg?
No, I learned a lot about how those appliances. I'm digging it. So.
I mean,
It's so much more. I mean, there's whole rabbit holes that we didn't even go down that we could just talk all day about. But yeah,
we need to go down to the showroom.
That's really what needs to happen.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, I hope you out there have enjoyed listening to this episode as well. Thank you so much for downloading it, and we hope that you have already liked and subscribed to our channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that like button, click the subscribe button, tell your friends, tell your family, leave us a 5-star rating and review. That really, really help us. We appreciate it, and we're here each and every Tuesday. And until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.